Playoff game 16-3. It is their first playoff win since Tom Brady and Bill Belichick were in town. 2018 season, they win the Super Bowl. The last playoff win was in the Super Bowl over the Rams, 13-3. We got the crew here today. We got Phil Perry, Tommy Curran, three-time Super Bowl champion Ted Johnson. I'm Michael Holley. Fellas, it wasn't the prettiest game at times. The Chargers were hanging around, but if you just step back and think about your biggest takeaways, what are they? Let's go around the table.
Yeah, for me, you got to start with the Patriots defense, allowing just 3 points. And how wrong was I before the game began? Because I sat here and said the biggest concern for the New England Patriots tonight is their pass rush good enough to get to Justin Herbert? They only sacked him half a dozen times tonight and absolutely flummoxed him from start to finish. It felt like he never looked comfortable. He is not beating the allegations as someone who is able to perform in a postseason environment. Tom, this team was led by its defense tonight, and that pass rush up front, which included a lot of blitzing, especially in the second half, really won the game for New England.
Yeah, and I'm going to actually go to the quarterback. He goes 17 for 29 for 268, beautifully thrown touchdown. He did have a pick off a tip early. The defense bailed him out. Really complimentary game. But when you add in the running, 10 for 66, setting up the field goal before halftime, the number of scrambles he had, the way he played the position, pick, 2 fumbles, not what you're looking for, but his first playoff game to make the high leverage plays that he needed to. And even when they kicked that field goal before halftime, Teddy, some of the decisions to throw the ball away and understand the situation were really outstanding by him. So I think it's an outstanding first playoff game for Drake Maye, and I'm sure you're going to pick up with the defense and how fascinating this was.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to give the defense its flowers. I mean, it was the best game they've played all season long. They saved their best for this game tonight. It was incredible, and you could just tell that they were ready to go from jump. They were playing downhill. They tried to get that run game going for the Chargers early in that game. That's Greg Roman's bread and butter, and they gave them nothing. There was no seams. There was a wall there. Linebackers downhill, DBs playing downhill. It was excellent. And then just the aggressive nature. I mean, that first that turnover that the Patriots had there, and they're deep in their own end zone, and they tried to go for it on 4th and goal on the 1 yard line or 2 yard line. They did a casino blitz on that 2 yard line, which is a very gutsy call, and it worked. So they were blitzing, and it worked, and they were playing downhill, and it worked. So that defense, to me, 2 turnovers that the Patriots had, 0 points for the Chargers in those turnovers. So to me, besides like Tom said, the outstanding play kind of from Drake Maye, making up for his mistakes like he's done all season long. To me, the story of the game tonight, guys, is the defense.
I want to mention, too, the coaching staff real quick, because I think they read the nature of the game, too. They kind of understood what this was. It was a rock fight. Once they realized defensively, he's under siege and he's making some bad mistakes, meaning Herbert. For instance, the little shuffle that he got away with in the first half on the incompletion, he was scrambling out of necessity, but somewhat out of panic, and they said, let's just speed him up even more. And then offensively, I think that McDaniels did what McDaniels will do. He started to scheme some things up and also had great balance so I think that Vrabel, as the overlord in saying this is the way the game's playing out, these are the decisions we're going to make, really had a great impact. It was just complimentary from coaching to offense to defense. Mistakes were mixed in, but they're playing one of the better defenses that they've seen all year, if not the best.
Yeah, Herbert looked spooked, and I do give them credit for continuing to call the game the way they did, not only early, as Ted mentioned, with that blitz call down by the goal line, but every single snap, it felt like, in the third and fourth quarters featured some kind of pressure package or at least some kind of disguise to try to confuse the offensive line, which we know is made up of a fair number of backups in front of Justin Herbert. I like the fact, Michael, that they trusted their defensive backs because they have a talented secondary, and they trusted those guys to go against what is an accomplished receiving core and said to those guys, okay, you have to lock your guys down, especially deep down the field, and trust that we'll get home, and they were able to do that. That's why you only see 3 points on the board for L.A.
3 points on the board for L.A. The final was 16-3, and if we do some kind of football exchange rate, that's really like 32 or 48-3. Didn't you guys feel like if the Patriots don't screw this up, which they kind of did a few times, if they don't screw this up, there's just no way the Chargers are going to be able to muster a field goal. I mean, a field goal felt like it was going to be a struggle for the Chargers. And Ted Johnson, if you go back to the very beginning of the game, where that tip pass turns into a pick for the Chargers, and they got the ball in the red zone, and Jim Harbaugh decides to forego a field goal.
Wow.
Do you think going back, that would have changed the game at all? It would have changed the dynamic a little bit?
I mean, it could have, really. I mean, it was windy out there tonight, right? I mean, it was cold. I think the wind and the weather was a factor. And you would think that you would just want to get the points in that situation. And the fact that he was so aggressive and the Patriots made him pay, it was beautiful. And I believe, on the next drive, from their own 2-yard line, they went down on a 10-play drive and got a field goal. So they made them pay for that decision right there. It's kind of, the Steelers in the AFC Championship game in 2004, they decided to go for it on their opening drive, couldn't get it, and then we blew them out.
Why couldn't they get it, Ted?
Because we had their
There was a linebacker who made a really nice play.
Well, it was Vrabel that made the play. I just fell on the pile and for the JOP. But so it's just funny how a big decision early in a game, if it's the wrong decision, it can spiral out for the other team. But it just felt like, even though this was a one-score game, and I thought it was a compelling game, there might be people, my family's texting me.
Did you really? No, wait a minute. Really?
I did.
The game, or just a defensive game plan from the Patriots? It was compelling.
Tom and I were talking about it. If it was a one-score game, to me, that's a compelling game when it's one score, even though there was not a lot of scoring. Any play, any missed tackle, any slip-up could mean the difference in the game. And so it's kind of like that Super Bowl in 2019 for Patriots. It was a low-scoring game, but I found it compelling because it was always a one-score game for most of the game. So my family thought it was a boring game. I thought it was a fun, compelling game.
I thought it was fun because, as these games go along, sometimes you see one of those ridiculous downfield Rex Grossman try and get a long-distance DPI play that you're going to put your hands to your temples and say, my God, how did that happen? And it was that kind of game. After the strip sack that negated a drive for the Patriots and would have at least ended in a field goal, is that a play that's going to come back to bite them? But what I think, and I wonder what you guys say, is how does this change the way you view the Patriots in this postseason? Because what we're going to hear now, I'm sure, are going to be a lot of qualifiers about how good the Chargers are not. They lost against Denver, 19-3, bailout game in the last game. Right. They lost to Houston 20-16. They got boat raced by Jacksonville 35-6.
But they beat Denver. But they beat Philadelphia. And they beat Kansas City when Kansas City was still Kansas City.
So I'm just saying this is what the NFL, especially in the AFC, is this season. The best teams, the teams with double-digit wins, might have flaws, might have young quarterbacks and new head coaches, might have offensive lines that can't block like we just watched with Los Angeles. But the Patriots are going to see the Steelers or the Texans next week and be a game away from the AFC Championship. And again, you're going to have, Phil, an opportunity against a team that probably is not a Titan.
I just look at this. This is a compelling game to me. And the reason that it was on Sunday Night Football, I think, is because you had two of the best young quarterbacks in football playing in a win-or-go-home sort of situation, and you're getting a chance to see how they handle the moment. And if you're in L.A. and you're a Chargers fan, you are very nervous about your quarterback right now, as good as he's been in the regular season. And even though it is still a relatively small sample size, you've seen him in 3 postseason games. It's been rough for Justin Herbert. Meanwhile, not a perfect game, as Tom mentioned off the top, for Drake Maye. 17 for 29, 268, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. But the fact that he made the mistakes that he made and then still is able to make the touchdown throw late in the game to put the game away. I mean, he had a strip sack that I thought was a bad strip sack on his part. He got bumped a little bit. He was getting jarred in the pocket, still trying to make a play, trying to make things happen, maybe a little bit too long into the down. The interception, tip ball at the line of scrimmage. Right. It sounded like Mike Vrabel put that on Drake Maye during his halftime interview with NBC. But he's able to come back from those mistakes. He does not get too down on himself, even in a first playoff game situation for him. So I think if you're a Patriots fan, even though it was not perfect, you have to like how your young quarterback played.
And I would say, fellas, you tell me what you think. I'd say shed no tears for the Los Angeles Chargers, even with the beat-up offensive line and the 54 sacks for Justin Herbert, because you can say oh, Herbert didn't have any help. But what have we been hearing all season about the Patriots? A historically weak schedule. Have they played anybody? Well, you get them in a playoff situation, and all bets are off. Everybody has some kind of wound, some kind of nick, some kind of issue in the playoffs. Sorry that you're dealing with something. I'm dealing with something too. So I think this is the first test. You guys tell me, it was the first test of validity for the Patriots. I know it's the Chargers. I know they're not great, but it's a playoff situation. You're moving on to the divisional round next Sunday, and it starts to answer one of these questions. Hey, what's going to happen when they get into a real situation? Well, this is a real situation, whether you respect the Chargers or not. Am I right, Ted?
I think this was a big test, Michael. I do, in the sense I've been saying all week, and some people have been coming at me because I've said this would be a huge disappointment if they lose this game. With 14 wins like that and in the 2 seed, if they don't come out with a win, I'm going to look back and be like, what the hell happened? Because you got to validate the great season they had. I mean, I know they exceeded expectations, but they blew out expectations by winning 14 games. So you got to validate that season by going out and winning tonight. They did that. And so that gives me, hope for this team moving forward. Of course, this was going to be a question mark. If they didn't win this game, okay, so the regular season softness proved to be what we all thought it was. They've put that to bed. Now they're legit. People are going to take this team very, very serious. I don't know how you don't, because that Chargers offense, although it's not the stalwart offense, it's a pretty good offense led by a very good quarterback, and that defense just shut them down. And the fact that you've seen the Patriots all season long, guys, is kind of put themselves behind the 8 ball, whether that Bengals game or even the Browns game, where they make mistakes early and they're able to overcome their mistakes. So this team has kind of proven all season long, and even in the biggest game, that there is room for error. They lost their turnover battle, 2-1, 2-0 tonight. They still won the game very handedly. That bodes well for this team.
It does, and it's funny. We talk so much about, will it be a failure if the Patriots lose? And I would consistently say, tell me what the loss looks like. Tell me who they lose to. Do they lose 30-27 in a shootout and they just get Josh Allen? No, that obviously didn't happen. Had they lost this game, though, say they didn't get the touchdown, they lose this game 12-9 on some foolishness, it would have hurt a hell of a lot more, because it was a very beatable team and you got a winning performance from your defense and something happened. Look, I think the Patriots offense didn't look so hot, not because anybody was off, but because it was the best defense they saw. But for them to win the game, not because the Chargers blundered their way through, and Justin Herbert was hitting people between the fives with passes, and they were taking it the other way. The Patriots had to win this game. The Chargers did not give it to them, Phil, I don't think.
They were complicit. I would say the Chargers were complicit. I got a handful of plays here that I just would chalk up as dumb. I got it right in my notes. L.A. dumb. Forced fumble. I mean, how many times is he going to be loose with the football in the pocket? Those aren't smart plays to me. You have an illegal shift and a drop pass on 3rd and 7 that kills the drive for them. You have a false start on 1st down on their 4th drive late in the game. You have Justin Herbert, who I thought at times did have some scramble lanes to run and decides to throw down the field and throw inaccurately. And he was real. I thought he was really inaccurate down the field. Now, on some of those, he is on the move, and so I get it. There's arms and legs and all sorts of things moving around. He's a big guy. But those are the types of throws that you're supposed to be making if you're a top 7 quarterback in the NFL, which a lot of people, myself included, believed coming into this game that he was. So I just felt like between the early play calling, some of the mistakes, the penalties, the turnovers or would-be turnovers by L.A., like they were not on their P's and Q's, Ted, in a way that you have to be to win in the postseason.
Yeah, no, that was I was surprised. I mean, I think Herbert had 10 carries, 10. They were scrambles. They weren't quarterback design runs. Just so the Patriots defense was, I guess, had such good coverage back there that he had to hold it and run. I just, part of me is wondering, like, the timing of their offense was off. And I was not impressed by Justin Herbert. I mean, at all. I know he was running for his life, but I just felt like there was probably plays to be made that I have to go back and look at. I just wasn't impressed by him. But I give more credit to the Patriots defense, to be honest with you. I thought the Patriots defense came to play early on, and particularly how they stopped the run early in the game.
Yeah, he wasn't scrambling as much as he was fleeing the scene at times. I mean, it was just like so much. He was just trying to break out of there and preserve himself. And at the end of the game, he couldn't even do that. He's pretty banged up, and I'm sure we'll get an update on that. Rushing yards first. Drake Maye outrushed Justin Herbert. He certainly outpassed him. 268 passing yards to 159. Herbert did not throw a touchdown pass. Didn't throw an interception either, but not even close to throwing a touchdown pass. Neither guy had a great quarterback rating, but Drake Maye was good enough, had a nice touchdown pass to Hunter Henry to give the Patriots their single touchdown of the game. And he's a big reason Mike Vrabel can celebrate his first playoff win as Patriots head coach. Here's Vrabel postgame.
You make it down, Karen? There you are.
I ran the whole way, Mike.
Good.
There's a saying that defense wins championships. Your team had 6 sacks of Justin Herbert and pretty much made his life miserable. How well did you think they played tonight?
Well, I thought they played extremely well. I thought they were committed to stopping the run. I thought they were, the sudden change was critical. It was a very good defense that we were playing. And, we turned the ball over far too many times. But what our defense was able to do early in that game, in the red zone, inside the 5-yard line or inside the 9-yard line, was, I think, really set the tone for them for the rest of the game. And, could have been better. We had a lot of scrambles, and we knew that. And, again, trying to rush and trying to, make sure that those scramble lanes aren't there. Secondary did a fantastic job with the play extensions and making sure that, those plays didn't get loose. And I'm just really proud of everybody.
Mike, how proud were you to see the effort and the finish towards the end of your defense? Obviously, they could smell blood. Milt Williams doing what he does to finish it off. And speaking of blood, how's your lip? And what's that like?
Well, we talked to him about being willing to spill some blood out there and that the big dogs come out in January. And I think Milt took that to heart in the way that he played the game and the way he finished the game. And he came over and, got me pretty good. But, that's what happens.
Mike, congrats on the win. Wondering what you thought of Drake Maye's performance tonight. Looked like he had a slower start, but finished very well.
Yeah, I mean, again, we got to take care of the football. I thought he came through when we needed him. The tip pass is something that, was unfortunate. That turned into an interception. But the throw to Hunter, I thought, when we needed him, was elite.
Coach, talk about Zach Kerr. Obviously, defense plays unbelievable tonight, but he stepped in this season with everything that happened with Coach T. He's done a remarkable job.
He really has.
Talk about his the game he called tonight on defense.
Well, I would tell you that this means a lot to him. These players mean a lot to him. I think that they want to do well for Zach and for the entire staff. They put a lot into it, and I'm proud of Zach for not only the performance, calling the game, but the preparation and what goes into it. And he's earned every bit of recognition that he's getting and should get. And again, it takes everybody. There's great communication from upstairs, getting it to the players, and they certainly respond. And all the credit has to go to them. But Zach was able to change up some calls there at the end, and I felt like that mixed the pressure in because that's what we felt like we needed.
Hey, Mike, congrats on the win. On third down, you guys were 1 of 10 defensively, 1 of 3 on fourth down. Was that a specific point of emphasis during the week? And how much momentum did you guys take from those stops in those situations?
A lot. And I think they probably got tired of hearing me talk about, them being fourth in the league and in third down and what they were able to do as an offense. And so to be able to do that, but you have to be able to create some longer yardage situations, and we were able to do that. So that was, real positive. I think being able to get drives stopped. Certainly, the Chargers want to possess the football. They want to wear you down, and I don't think we ever let them do that.
Chris Ryan on the left.
Mike, was there a particular aspect of their defense's performance which you thought was the most significant? Was it stopping the run, how you're able to pursue Herbert? What stood out the most and do you think kind of sent them in the wrong direction?
Well, I think the stop early helped, the fourth down stop really set the tone. But, being able to stop the run, if you look at the runs that they handed off to the running back, that's kind of, I think, where things started. You're going to look at the rushing yards and whatever it was, but those are, quarterback scrambles on passes. So our ability to stop the run and force second and third and long situations, I think, really, really helped us. And, those are only good if you can take advantage of them. We caused some turnovers. We hit the quarterback, and, one time it bounces into the running back's hands, and he's taking off running, and Harold runs and makes a great effort play, and that's going to go for 12 yards and started as a strip sack, and then next time that very easily could be our football. So just the effort, and everybody played and everybody contributed. There's so many guys. Guys went down, other guys went in there and stepped up, and we play a lot of guys on defense, and I think that they all appreciate that, and I think they all have roles, and that's fun to see everybody contribute.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, Soph.
Congrats on the win. I was just curious about the run game tonight and what you saw from Ramondre, Travion, and Drake as well, specifically with him on that, I think it was a 30, I can't remember the exact number, but that big scramble.
It was long enough. I thought that it was good enough. I did. I thought that it was good enough. I thought we were close on a few, and anytime that you can finish the game running the football against the Chargers and a defense like that, I think it's very positive. So certainly we weren't one-dimensional. We were able to run the football. We were able to get some yards on first down. I thought the backs ran hard. I thought they did a great job of taking care of the football. And Drake, obviously, if he gets the looks that are advantageous, he can take off and run. And just like he did last week, he did the same thing this week.